You're listening to Real Talk Texas with local expert Steve Hakes. Now, here's Steve.
Welcome back to Real Talk Texas. We're having some fun in the studio today. We're talking about how to make money in real estate. And it's to me, that's where I think a lot of people are focused. And we're going to talk a little bit later about the activity in the next segment of what's happening in 2013. But before we went to break, we were just talking about some of the things that you can do to make money and how you set up your team and who are the people you need to get into the house flipping, or what I like to call the acquisition and reposition of real estate assets. So it sounds a little better than house flipping for some reason. I don't know. But, one of the things I wanted to talk about as well, and if you're listening out there, we've got a new service on the show, and that is, I'd like for you to pull your cell phones out. And if you're thinking about getting into this business, or you need some remodeling done, or you have a flooring need, all you need to do is just text the show here and just send a text to 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546. And just text the word flooring or fix. And we'll put you in touch with our real experts in the studio today. And today we have Phil Loesch of Make Ready Specialists and Murphy Dykes of Peaks Flooring. And they're real experts about what to do with a house and things like that. So let's get into, how do we really reposition? What's the best thing to do? How do I do this? What's the best way to build value into a house, I guess is what I'm asking. If we get right into that.
Well, on the flooring side of it, we, number one, have 5 stores throughout the Metroplex. And one of those stores in Richardson has about $500,000 worth of inventory. And we use most of that inventory for landlords, flippers, investors, things like that. And we have everything from very, very expensive hand-scraped woods down to the bottom line where you're just trying to freshen up a house. It is basically what we keep on hand is beige, 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 because you don't want to go out there and put hunter green carpet down in your house when you're going to sell it, because your chances of selling that and somebody liking that is probably going to be 1 out of 10. So we try to, the landlords know this. They come in, they're looking for certain items. What they do is they tell us, we want to put a certain type of carpet or a certain type of hard surface product in all of our houses. Please keep this in stock for us so we can turn it very quickly, because they don't come to us and say, oh, we need it in 3 weeks. It's usually we need it right now. We need it this week. We need it in 2 days. So we always keep a stock there for any of our investors, landlords, anybody like that needs stock right away.
And that's Peaks Flooring. And where do you have your 5 locations? Where are they at?
Richardson, Frisco, Louisville, North Dallas, and Highland Park.
Great. So pretty convenient all over.
Yeah.
As investors taking advantage of Murph service there, when you've got a bathroom, when you've got a small kitchen, what ends up happening a lot of times is they order 500 cases of X flooring, and then they have 7 left. And those 7 left are taking them space. You create a relationship with a company like this and say, what do you have left over? And they start getting closeout stuff where you're getting real high quality products at lower prices, because Murph needs that showroom space to order the next 500 rolls of carpet, and he's got 12 boxes of tile in its way. So he's motivated to get rid of that. It helps you guys as the investors save some money on your materials. And that's part of the services we do, is we work with people like Murph to try to find odd lots, small, different sizes, different things to save money. So everything's not quite as blasé on the house flip. So everyone is a little different. You add some value without actually adding any more cost.
Okay, so I'm building my team. I'm in the business of repositioning real estate. I'm focused on that. So I'm building my team. I have my real estate person, and if you need one of those, you can certainly text the show on that. Financing, you either have your cash money person or something like that. We'll talk a little bit later in segment 4 today about going and fixing up your house. If you need a home improvement loan, we can do that certainly at an affiliated bank. So those are things that we can do to help. So you've got a real estate person, you've got a finance person, you've got someone. I always watch these shows, and they always have this contractor come in, and Phil, you're that guy.
That's me.
And comes in and says, okay, you saw this house and you thought, I'll knock out this wall and do this and do that. How do you help people, the real estate investor, make decisions on that?
We look to get the maximum return on the property. Sometimes it's spending money. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes, if we spend $10,000 to add $8,000 worth of value, we serve no function there. So what we're looking to do is look at the property. One of the big things that you need to do is spend the money that you're going to spend on the property wisely.
When we were talking before the show, you told me the story about someone that it was a 1.5 bath house, and they wanted to put 2 baths in it. Tell me what was the logic there?
The 2-bath house generally would make sense. Problem was the house just wasn't set up. There was nowhere to put a second bathroom. So we could have added a second bathroom, but quite frankly, we would have been the only ones to make money on that, and the investor wouldn't have. So in that particular case, what we did is we stick with our 1.5 baths. The half bath in this particular house was just for 1 bedroom. So we moved the half bath over just a little bit, made it so it was available to the whole house. And so now we ended up getting almost our 3-2 without spending a whole bunch of money that didn't make sense. You would have had a shower about as big as a toilet to put in a second bath, so it didn't make sense. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll look at the property, we'll look at the properties around it, we'll look at our budget and determine what we can do that adds value. So, and looking around at your comps is something that a lot of investors don't do that needs to be done more, is see what you're competing against, both, not just they look at the numbers and the sizes, but the houses themselves. If everybody has granite, then guess what? You need granite. If nobody has granite, then guess what? You really don't need granite, and that's not necessarily money well spent. So knowing your comps and what you can spend and should spend is the right way to go. You're going to have to spend money to flip a house. It's how you spend it determines your return.
Okay, and on the average person that you deal with, Phil, what kind of money are they spending? What's the range? On
average, most flips, you don't get out of too many flips for under $15,000. We don't do too many flips for over 30. So usually you're going to be in that range. It's kind of some of the newer houses, 2000 construction, new suburbs, north of town, that type of stuff. When you're getting some of those, you can be in the 6 to 8 range. But when you consider you must paint a house and recarpet a house, have new paint and new flooring on every house if you want to flip it, that's going to suck up a good chunk of that right there, and you haven't gotten into any repairs outside, anything like that.
Well, so, it seems to me that if I wanted to turn a property real fast, that would be the easiest way. If I could go in and had the right layout, everything like that, everything was functional, if all I had to do was put lipstick on it, meaning put new carpet, put new paint on it. I understand the paint, but Murph, what about flooring? What's the best thing to do there to get the most bang for my buck?
It goes down into different levels. If we're going with a rental property, most landlords now are going towards a product which is vinyl plank. It looks just like wood. It wears like iron. It takes the place of the old sheet vinyl that we used to put everywhere. A lot of investors are using that. It lasts through 2 or 3 renters.
Is it pretty easy to install?
Very easy to install. And if a plank gets ruined, you just pop that plank out, put another one in. You can do that. Carpet is always in the bedrooms, beige. It makes it look fresh, and it turns it very quickly. Now, we had a job about a month ago in Louisville, and this house was worth $1.2 million, and they were trying to sell it. Well, they spent $12,000 on redoing the floors in the house because it was such an expensive house. So it's relative to what the house is worth and if it's being rented or sold. But in those positions, we offer anything that you can do with floors: laminate, wood, carpet, tile. Tile used to be a big winner in bathrooms, but the biggest problem with tile is that it breaks, the grout looks nasty, and a lot of times it just gets dated looking. So we try to keep the houses, they want to date the houses to be up to date with what's going on out there in as far as decorative and things like that with the house. The other thing that we also do, that I'm certified in thermology, and we actually go through on investor houses, and we can run an infrared scan through a whole entire house, see if you're missing installation, electrical hotspots. But the biggest problem for investors is moisture intrusion from some point. Either it's from underneath or on the walls or in the roof, and we can pinpoint them very quickly with infrared.
Well, if you're listening, you just tuned in. We've got Phil Loesch of Make Ready Specialist and Murphy Dykes of Peaks Flooring, and he also offers other services as well. Get out your cell phone, put in this number, and just text the word flooring or fix to our show at 817-925-2546. That's 817-925-2546. If you're thinking about building a team, we've got 2 people that you need on your team to get into this business and do a great job. So stay tuned. We've got more to share with you. We're going to talk more about some of the things that are happening with flooring that can really take things and turn a house around. And it just blew my mind. So you got to come back. Murph shared something that's a new product out there. You've just got to stay tuned. Thanks for listening to Real Talk Texas. We'll be right back.